control movement tags up and down. So that is the full MARC editor. And just a quick way for me to show you how to bring a record in the system. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to cover sort of the CAT SERP. Those are sort of the primary areas, and I think it gives you an idea of our interface and how easy it is to use the interface. But then beyond that, we want to take the time in the last few minutes to highlight some things that we think that we're really good at. Certainly our reporting and our global update are two features that we like to highlight. So our global update is where you would go to make global changes, whether it's, if you look at this list here, whether we're talking about your patient records, item records, order records, bibliographic records. We have a tool that allows you to create a review file, is the term that we use, but it's a reporting tool that allows you to predefine records that you want to change. And certainly note here, you can do an index search if I chose to. So if I actually had a subject heading I wanted to change, I could do an index search against a subject heading. But for this example, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a review file. And I wanted to find a real-world example of things that you probably have to change right now. And when I was working in the database, I actually found some records that started with the THE, but they did not have an indicator for. I don't know how common that is, but maybe it does happen. So I actually have a report that's already written that has, if I do a search, what I have in this search, a bib record, you can see here that it's 240 or 245, and I have second indicator is 0, and I want it to be 4. I don't want to manually change each one of these one at a time, so what I want to do is a true global update. So to me, a true global update means I can change anything in that MARC record, including my indicator fields. So I'm going to go to my command input. In the option 1, change variable length field is the most common option that people use. And I have this sort of little communication here. Note that case and whole subfields, like if you're talking to subject headings, those would be a big concern. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm really saying it's indicator 2 is a 0, and what? And I want it, and I want to change it with a 4. And I have a preview that will show me, it always shows me old and new. So what we're looking here is it was 245.10. It's going to change it to 245.14. I have the ability to say, no, I don't want to change that one, so for whatever reason. So I now can go ahead and process these, and it's actually going to go ahead and make those changes for me. So it is a true global update so that it allows you to do maintenance in your database efficiently and quickly. The preview lets you do it confidently. So I wasn't sure how much time I had, and I really wanted to talk about the global update. Typically, I would talk about the reports that I use to get there first. And I do have a few minutes to talk about our reporting.
Just a couple things I'll show you at the end.
Okay. And so, okay. All right. So Martha's just telling me a few more things that she wanted me to show you. That sorry. So, well, one of the things with reporting is that so when we have been in this interface, we've been in this search interface, right? So I have something in this search interface called Browse Query, and the reason that I'm going here is that we have, so the Browse Query allows me to do all of the reporting detail that I can do when I'm creating a report that I want to save the result set, except for with Browse Query, I have all the functionality, but it brings the result set to this interface, and when I go away, the records go away versus saving it as a report. But it will show you sort of the power of what you can do. So what it really allows me to do is pick any of my record types, so that if I say I want my bibliographic record, the next thing you do is you pick a field. So these are the fields of the marked record, and as you can see, it's really every field, my fixed field, my variable length field, and then in detail, my leader 6, 7, and 8 fields. The way that it works is I select what I want to query on. In this case, I can say create date, because everybody's familiar with that. I can do a condition where I can say I want the date to be greater than, and then I have my little calendar here that allows me to go, well, I don't want to go back too far. I'll take everything added since December 1st of 2014. I have the ability to then append another line, and in this case, I may say that I want my item type to be equal to, and it will bring me my list. Maybe I just want my books that were added. So what it's doing down here is just building a SQL query. So I'm not sure, it's always hard when people aren't on the phone, but if you have people in the room that know SQL and write SQL queries, you can see that, not everybody knows how to write that query, but by pointing and clicking, I actually can build one, and it can get pretty detailed. You can do, with training, pretty much anything that you do with a SQL query, I can build graphically. And when I run the search, it's going to come back to my native interface that we've shown you throughout this demo that I'm familiar with. So now I actually have all my result sets, and if I want to edit them, I can work my way through them. If I wanted to save this, I wouldn't do it in my interface. I would have that same search functionality, but I would be in my reporting tools and save it as a report. Okay, so Martha wanted me to show you a couple of specific things.
And we did include ERM in your proposal to do your electronic resource management. And I think in the interest of time, we sort of show you how those records are managed, but you can do full. Our electronic resource management is fully integrated with the system. So you're keeping track of licenses, ticklers for actions that you need to take. And so it's allowing you to, within the fuller records of everything that you're keeping track of, to also then manage your subscriptions, your licensing, and we actually can do some really interesting reporting in terms of looking at if you've got various packages that you subscribe to. We can look at coverage overlap. We can be reporting on click per use, which also then ties back to your acquisitions module. So some really nice features there. I'll shut up now and let her talk.
Well, I think one of the things we tried really hard to do with the interface is that, and you will see some sort of common themes here, is that now the resource record is the parent record, and everything associated with that resource record is now available to me here, so that if I ordered the package or the title, I can get to my order records, my related order records, those additional things that happen after you order the package. You add titles, remove tags, you have credit memos or whatever. I can link those all together. My license information, which we're looking at by default, and certainly all of my related holdings, so that from here, whatever I want to get to, whether it's my contacts, financial information, it's all a single click away, so that when I look in the detail of a license record, you can see that I have lots of controlled vocabulary fields, and these fields are all based on the DLFI initiative, so that the standards show that every field here is associated back to a requirement in that. Controlled vocabulary, in some cases, it's already defined for you, you're just selecting from it. So even though we're looking at a resource record, it sort of has that same look and feel of whether you're adding bib or item records. Many different fields here. Particular logs are the logs associated with an event happens and I want an email notification. And then you can log that. So anything tied to a date can have a tickler. So it's time to review this because the license is going to be up. You know, run the statistics analysis report and see if it was used. Do I want to reorder it? That type of thing. So the whole idea behind the electronic resource management is management those resources in a single place. So all of these things that at one point in time may be in different file drawers, like the license information, contact information, order record information, I go to a single point and it's all here for me, all the way down to the actual related holdings, so that I can look at each holding that's part of that coverage load. Not only can I look at them in sort of this one view format, but as everything else that we've showed you, you can drill in. They're all, you know, I have the ability to go into the detail of them as well. And what you're seeing here, this would possibly be an example, because if you have, depending on how your institutions are doing the coverage, it's possible that you have double licenses for each, or even multiple licenses that have changed over time. But they're all right here together with single click-throughs to get to those.
So I'm going to switch back over to... So I wanted to just show you a couple of other really quick screens and then take a couple of minutes to say, you know, we knew the things that we wanted to show you, but in a fairly limited amount of time. Are there other things that you have? Well, we'll just answer that in the question area. So let me take that. Sure.
I have to send you, can you take it back, or do I have to give it back?
I think I'll take it back. So, bear with me just a second here. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I want to open up a Firefox screen. I hope I'm in the right place. Okay, so there's things that I know we talked about in our RFP response, and I just wanted to show you quickly. So there are a number of different flavors of Encore, the discovery piece. And of course, part of the value of Encore is to be able to search both your electronic resources and the materials within the library. So because of the way our demonstration systems are set up, I actually went ahead and opened up, if I can get to it, an example of the Central Piedmont Community College Encore down in North Carolina, who has Encore Synergy. And notice that, again, there are different options for doing this, but what they've chosen to do is with a single search, retrieve the library materials as well as the electronic resources, but they put them in separate tabbed channels, so they've got all of their articles set up separately here. And so from here, I can go to full text and PDF, whatever is available to me in terms of seeing that electronic information online. Now, I don't have a login at Central Piedmont, so if I click on that, it's going to ask me to authenticate, and I can't. But I wanted to show you just how easy it is to get to that electronic information online. So, and notice then that if I click over to the catalog, that would take me to the resources within. Those can be interfiled. They don't have to be separate channels. That's just the way that they've opted to set this up. And Jim, I think you had a question about 360. We can talk about that in just a second. The other example that I wanted to show you is a couple of things. Now, this is an Encore Duet example, and it does include the EDS, use of the EBSCO's EDS master index. But it still also illustrates something really nice for us, which is this is a situation where we've got both the electronic and the library's print materials interfiled on a search. And something else that I wanted to just make sure we mention, because I'm sure we did in our response, I have gone ahead and logged in. I'm Barney Innovative today. And once I have logged in, we have this feature within Encore that we refer to as the personalized browse. And what the personalized browse allows us to do is see from the browse screen immediately anything that I've got on hold or checked out, or anything any actions that are going on with my record. I'm going to take a quick peek at my checkouts here. We saw this before. So if oh boy, that looks like something I don't really want to have to try to spell myself. Notice that I'm seeing that I've checked out this item, and if I were to go in and capture this as just a quick keyword search, and again, I can see all of these different things that I've got available, but I can see immediately from the browse screen that I have checked out this item, so I should know that I already have it. And then last but not least, electronic. You folks have electronic books that you're offering to your faculty, staff, and students, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay. So one of the things that we have worked on in at Innovative is partnerships with various ebook vendors. Right now in our demonstration system, we're set up to show off 3M and Overdrive. We are also working with other vendors, so coming soon to Encore near you will be the things that are probably a little more academic oriented that you might be doing, like eBrary and those folks. But this will give you an idea of the kind of ease of use that you can do with this. So I'm seeing that I have Emma as an electronic resource, and I can go to check that book out. It will tell me what sort of formats are available to me, but instead of me having to go to another website to do the checkout, I've actually checked it out now from within the browse screen. So pretty powerful stuff. Now this isn't always available because of course it's in the what am I trying to say, open domain. It's not something that I've got copy limits on, but I could also, if this were something that had a limited number of copies, it will update the available number of copies in real time as I check things in and out. And check-in is just as easy. I checked it out, I'm done with it, I want to open it back up to somebody else to use, and now I'm going to do the check-in. So I just think that's a really easy, nice way for people to be able to get access to that, along with the PDFs, the journal articles. I'm real sure your students probably don't wait till the last minute to do their papers, right? Nobody working on that paper the night before it's due. So that is the beauty of Encore, is to be able to pull together in a single search box all of the resources that are available to the students through both your electronic resources and your book. And then also, we'll mention again, in this case, Link Plus, that's the equivalent of Melcat. It's already executed that search for me. I can go into the larger resource and place a hold. So in terms of your 360, now, there are a couple of different options for us in Encore, and Valerie's going to correct me if I say this wrong, I'm sure. But Encore Synergy allows us to go in and define different targets for you to go pull your resources from. And the other option, Encore Duet, actually utilizes, you don't have to be an EBSCO customer for content. We're simply using the power of their management of the central index. So, they've done all of this indexing, they've got that information available, and we use their central index to search. We had opted in this particular case to go with the Synergy, so we just need to define the targets, and then you can go in and search those through Synergy. That's the good overview. And so we've run a couple of minutes over, but hopefully answered the first of your questions. And so I'd like to open it up to, what else would you like to know from us?
This is Jackie the dinosaur. Do you have a subject browse and an author browse? I have
We do have,
the map.
sorry, so one of the things to think about a little bit, Encore is based on this notion of discovery that allows us to go in and sort of serendipitously find lots of material through a single search box, which is basically a keyword search. But we do still offer browse searching through some of our other options. In some cases, people have embedded a browse screen, perhaps on the library's webpage, and that would go in and do that browse for them. And certainly any field that is indexed, and you can choose what's indexed, can be searched via browse. So there is still the sort of more classic Webpack functionality available to you. In Encore, we sort of focused on that keyword-based searching, but it certainly doesn't limit you to not being able to do browse searching. Typically, staff are a lot more interested in that, but there are other ways to put that out there for students. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And who else has questions for us? Oh, the course reserve. So I need to, yeah, hang on, we'll walk back over and put, there we go. I will make Valerie the presenter again. Yes, and now that I've turned it over to Valerie, when we're all done, I can also show you that if you're using Encore to search, we've talked about all of those different facets that you can make available. Well, the course names can be the facets, part of the facets that are available. So you could, again, search for economics and then lo and behold find, actually I think you showed them that, take a look at what's available to them there. So never mind, you already saw that. And, okay, so I just went ahead and did a search on chemistry, and I'm going to go ahead and this is one that's already, all set up. So if I edit, then what I am tracking is you have begin dates and end dates, and those are going to be associated with reports where you can pull the bullet. Yeah.
We
still have the questions.
You have the orange screen, okay. Isn't technology fun? Trying to get back to my, oh, here it is. Okay. Let me get back to my share my desktop. All right. Are you all thinking of Sierra again?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so you can see here, I had done just a search on chemistry. I got a list of 2, and I'm going to go in to that. So I have a couple different things. Now the course record sort of becomes the parent record, and I have course titles that are hanging off of that. If we look at the course record, it's a combination of date, location, and then, course and professor information. If I go to my summary screen, then it's just the different individual items that are placed on reserve. I have the ability to add items, remove items, and of course that's individually. There are built-in processes where we do these in batch based on those dates. End of the semester, sort of a week before the end of the semester, give me everything that's ready to be pulled from the shelf. Maybe I want to notify the professor, do you still want to have this? You see that status active. So what we have the ability to do, the reason that's important is that when I remove it, am I truly removing it
totally from reserve, or am I just making it inactive? The advantage of inactive is that it only lives here in course reserve, but if that professor then wants to use it again, the work is already done. I just need to activate it and change my date. The other thing I would say specific to course reserve that's important is that we track the usage separate when it's on reserve, so that instead of an incremental use count in the item record, I can actually tell the professor that while it was on reserve, here's the use that happened during that specific time period. So course reserve is one of those interesting things. We're sort of, you're sort of looking at it here. It's almost a marriage between, professors, a course name, and then the title. It's like a triangle. Those three together make it a course. If we look in our Encore, and then it wants to know I'm just going to do a chemistry search. Then, because we talked about the facets, but so we have chemistry, should be a facet. If I want to go to chemistry 200, then I have my, I may find it by a facet. I may know that's my exact title. I go to my course reserve, and now I have links out to my professors. So it's sort of, we're just directing the students. And so these, in this case, all of these happen to be on reserve. So that's sort of like from the staff end and the user end, the course reserves.
And Jim had asked about, could we elaborate a little more on our mobile offerings through Encore? I was just looking to see if I have a screenshot of what it potentially looks like, but certainly the whole idea behind the mobile Encore is that folks can, when they connect into the Encore server, it's going to sense that it's coming from an OS that would lend itself to the mobile version. It's a little more streamlined. Do you know if you have a...
I'm looking to see, I don't,
we can certainly send you some screenshots if we did not include those in the RFP response. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back over to me. And, but the idea again is that it will automatically show you a sort of a more streamlined version, but everything can be searched. One of the things that's kind of nice about that is that, well, I'm maybe speaking out of turn, the ability to actually do the electronic book checkout even from the mobile devices there. Yeah. Other than, being able to, Valerie's looking to see if she's got a screenshot of what that mobile looks like. But it's the full functionality, but it's a slightly pared down screen just so it's not overwhelming to get to that. Are there other questions? Is that what you had in mind with the mobile OPAC experience?
Yeah, this is Jim. That's fine. I just wanted to get a little bit more on that. Another quick question. Will we have access to an archive of this demo? Yeah. Yep, okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.